I just love being back. Gosh. And I love you guys. I was greeted in the parking lot with welcome home by some parishioners, and it feels so good to be back home. Thank you for welcoming me back to this parish home that I truly consider to be a home in a special way, thanks to Father Len, who has always welcomed me back whenever I come back from working at the seminary. This is my favorite holiday today, Thanksgiving. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving once again. This is the best holiday I think we have in America and maybe even, in our society. If we think about it, it's the most human of all of the holidays. And I want to look at a few of the qualities of this day to see how the Lord, through this holiday, is speaking to us and what it means for us in our own faith. And so if you don't mind, let's dive in and do a little bit of what we call an exegesis of the holiday itself. And of course, let's start with the name, Thanksgiving, right? I love it. It's a day where we know just by the name itself that we're called to give thanks for everything we have received from the Father. And even implicit in that is this acknowledgement that everything we have, everything we are, all of the good things that we have in life have been given to us by our loving Father. There's a lot there, though, that yes, our God indeed loves us. God indeed loves you. And you know far better than I, there is no parent on earth that wouldn't love their child so much to give them the world. And so God indeed has done for us. Everything we have, our families, our friends, our jobs, our livelihoods, the love we have, it's a beautiful gift from God our Father. And we set aside this day to step back and to look up and to thank Him for everything that He's given us. To thank Him for all of the ways that He's loved us. And we should even look aside to our left and to our right and thank those around us, our loved ones, our families, our friends, for being a part of our lives. All of the good things we have come from God. And this day is meant to train us in a way to see that more and more, that all of life is a gift. And I love that Thanksgiving kind of always falls around the first Sunday of Advent, which of course is preparation for Christmas, the day where God gives us the gift of Himself. And so already we begin to prepare our hearts for whatever God gives us. And more than just gifts, again, He gives us Himself and His love. And the more we recognize these gifts, the more we open our hearts to everything the Lord has to give us. And the more we thank the Lord for even the things we're not aware of, the more we open our eyes in thankfulness and thanksgiving for the gifts and the life that He has given us. And of course, I would be remiss, though, if I didn't acknowledge the fact that there is suffering out there. And I want to say very briefly that yes, we all endure in some way, somehow, at some point in our lives, maybe even now, some form of hardship or difficulty or suffering. And we can say unequivocally that that does not come from the Lord, because the Lord never gives bad things to His children. And that if we experience suffering, we know it does not come from Him, but that He's in the midst of the suffering anyway, because it's in those moments that we need Him to be closest, and in those moments that He comes closest to us to get us through. And so, if there's anyone out there who is in any way suffering or who has suffered at any time, I ask you to please give that suffering over to the Lord and thank Him not necessarily for it, but thank Him for being with you in it. Because it's in that moment that He has come into your hearts and in your life to carry you through it. What I love also about this beautiful holiday is that it always involves us getting together in some way, that there's something about the physical presence of our loved ones, our family, and our friends, of being together in the same space that is so important. That human contact, right? That human encounter with each other. being together, coming together to have a meal, coming together to hang out, coming together to watch football or the real football. FIFA did something right for once. But there's something about coming together in the space, right? And think about it. There's something so symbolic of people inviting family, friends, and loved ones into their homes that signifies, that symbolizes inviting people into their hearts. And today we have this beautiful celebration of opening our hearts to our loved ones, or having a loved one open their hearts to us and entering into it toll-free. Or maybe you have to bring a pie or something, but. And how beautiful is it to invite family and friends? It's so symbolic too. Not only opening our hearts, but the more people we invite, it's as if, yes, the physical space may get cramped and we might be, pulling out a second or third table and to do this and that and to find a little space here. But there's always more room in our hearts for people. And so we see too that not only opening our hearts to our loved ones, to our family, to our friends, but also expanding our hearts, expanding our love. And of course, so many here know this, that just when you think you can't possibly love someone more, you can't possibly expand your heart more, you can't possibly increase the love you have in your heart more, you find a way that in loving, in expanding, in pushing yourself to love, you find more of it. That love is this weird virtue, this weird gift, this weird grace action from God. That the more we do it, the more we have of it. That it can never run out. And so in Thanksgiving, we see a truly special symbol of us opening and expanding our hearts and our love. And hopefully not today only, but that this is preparation for every day. That this is practice for every moment in our lives where we must expand and open our hearts and increase our love and invite people in. And then lastly, I love the symbolism of sharing a meal. Food, of course, it gives life. Without food, we would perish. And it's because of that simple biological fact that if you have food, you have life. That the Hebrew people, Jesus' own people, knew that if you shared a meal with someone, it was symbolic of sharing your life with them. And if you went over to someone's house to share a meal with them, it was symbolic of you acknowledging that they had life within them. Which, since I'm a professor now, I'm just going to nerd out for 1 second. That's why all of the Pharisees and Sadducees and scholars hated Jesus when he would go to eat with tax collectors and sinners, because that was an acknowledgement to everyone that those tax collectors and sinners had life within them. And that was scandalous. That was God saying that this sinner had life, which came from God. And that was really scandalous. So that's the little nerd moment for the day. I'm done. I got you. You can't leave. But my brothers and sisters, do we share our lives with people every day? Not just today, but every day. This is the great symbol of a sharing of life. Or do we acknowledge life in others every day? This is a great day to practice. But in today, as we go to each other's homes, as we open up our doors, our lives, as we open up our kitchen and we share a meal, we're sharing love. We're opening our hearts and we're sharing our lives. So my brothers and sisters, open your hearts to your loved ones today and every day. Share your life with your loved ones today and every day. And especially today and every day. Thank God for them, for life, for the gifts you've received, and for even the gifts you know not. Today is this great day of Thanksgiving. Today is this great day of Eucharistia. Today is this great day to celebrate the humanity that God has given us and the gifts that he has poured out for us and the gift that he is in our lives. May God bless you and have the happiest and holiest and most blessed of Thanksgiving to you all.